You guys put an emphasis on finishing games prior to last week, and it didn't work out for you. Just what can you do now to, I guess, get better at that?
Yep. Well, we gotta keep going with it, right? It's all, as always, try to identify what's going on. So, and put some specific work in addressing those things. So, I said, I feel in a lot of ways we're uptight in those situations. We're too nervous. We got to relax more. We got to trust our training more. Take confidence in the fact that we got a lot of guys that play a lot of football, been in those situations before and been successful. So I don't want it to become a thing. And our level of execution just hasn't been what it needs to be in some of those clutch moments. It's not every down. It's clutch moments. So got to make good decisions when decisions are required, and so we can. You've got guys that do that with regularity, can do it, and we just need to do it now. So again, I'm just got to assume that every game is going to come down in situations like that, and honestly, we practice that stuff today. So and did successfully. So I hope that I have to have confidence that we'll get the job done. But unfortunately, we just have not the last few weeks, and as I said, earlier, it's statistics are one thing, and they can be misleading about, because when it's really come down to it, we got to do a better job.
How do you think the defense handled Cornell being out late in that kind of period? Because Kobe talked about maybe people weren't listening as much to him as they should have been.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. We practice every day. Cornell doesn't take every snap, so there's other guys that play in his spot every day. So, and quite honestly, I don't spend a minute worrying about if he's playing or not playing or who's playing. It's you got to play with the guys that are in there, and you got to trust the guys that are in there. And so anybody that would play other than Cornell, if Cornell happens not to play, they've taken plenty of reps. So I don't have a good response to that comment, but we need to trust one another and listen to one another, and that's what we need to do as a defense for sure.
Brian, you guys the running quarterbacks have given you some trouble. What does TCU's quarterback do? Does he run it, and what do you see from their offense?
Well, he has, but he doesn't. I don't think that's not his game, like the last two guys. And I thought we did a decent job on the guy last week, other than probably one specific play and a couple of scrambles. But the plays we were most concerned about, him running the ball on, we defended him pretty good. So, those guys are on scholarship too once in a while, and they kind of have a way of making some plays. But I think the TCU quarterback is a really good quarterback, but I would think that there's guys that look to run when they pass sometimes if things don't look quite right, and there's guys that hang in there and try to keep throwing the ball. He's a keep my eyes down the field, slide around the pocket kind of a guy, and give myself some space to throw the ball. So and he's really good at that kind of stuff. I don't think they're calling a lot of design runs for him. They have a huge RPO game, but it's largely, I'm going to give the ball off or I'm going to throw it. And so he throws the ball probably throws the ball at a higher percentage of RPO throws than probably any guy that will likely face all year long. So really accomplished in that area, and got some good guys to throw to.
When you face a wide receiver room like this that is as talented as it is, how do you approach that as a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, well, we just have to, know who they are. We study, what they do, what kind of catches do they make, how do they release off the line, what kind of tells and indicators do they have about breaking points and things like that. So I think we have some awareness of all that kind of stuff, but quite honestly, at the end of the day, you just gotta, keep yourself in good matchups. I feel good about anybody that's going to cover those guys back there, and so, but they're good in their own right. They've got good size. They look like strong, mature guys that run well. So they're going to be a handful. I'm not predicting that we're going to keep them to 0 yards passing. They're probably going to you know, they're probably gonna get a couple on us, but, you know, we gotta hang in there, and what I think they do is just such a really good job of just keep moving to open windows, and the quarter, they're just in sync on some of those things, and you feel like guys are covered, and they just keep moving, and they throw it to spots that, throw it to grass, and guys move into those spots, so they really do a good job in that area, and, you know, we've certainly got our work cut out for us, because they're a pretty good crew.
How have you felt about the play of your secondary to this point in the season?
I think we can play better. I think we've done, you know, a decent job. I sometimes feel like it's not every guy, every game just yet, so I don't know that we've all together just put our best performance forward. You know, our A players gotta get A's when it's test time, and counting on those guys, and they know they have high expectations of themselves, so I'm not disappointed in any of those guys at all. We gotta show up every week, and really just play to the level we're capable of. If we can do that, we're fine. And so I'm confident this can be the week that, like I said, that you feel like everybody's getting an A this week. That's what we need.
How did you spend the weather delay?
Our defense, or
Yeah, just you personally.
me personally, well, I got down to the locker room, and we really talked to each position group. We put some notes, had some notes about, plans going forward, what we wanted to do. So kind of listed, the calls that we thought we would make in certain package situations, and just reviewed to make sure guys knew what they were doing. And, I kind of got with each position group at a certain point, as, and then obviously position coaches spend a lot of time with their players, and, every few minutes they're up moving around and stretching and doing stuff. So there was quite a bit of that, and we met, staff-wise, we get together and we kind of confer about, sort of like we do at halftime, and what's the game situation, what are we gonna likely face. We probably, at some point it's probably gonna maybe be some 2-minute things, and here's what we're gonna call, and so we kind of got all that stuff mapped out and got that information to our players.
Brian, TCU likes to throw it a lot. How have you felt about your pass rush, and what challenges do you have this week?
Yeah, we actually, I think, got 3 sacks last week against the West Virginia team, which, that's the most anybody, has had on them in probably all of last year. So, and they were really good up front last week, and really good pass pro guys, and it was tough. I'm not saying it wasn't tough, but, we got guys that they're pretty relentless, and, we haven't had that one guy that, the Austin Booker from last year, some of those guys that have just been, this guy's he's gonna get after it. He's gonna put pressure on this guy 6, 7, 8 times a game. I don't know that we have that guy right now, and we're still developing, but we do have a lot of guys that have their moments. So, for anything, it's not always getting sacks. It's containing the quarterback in the pocket. It's condensing the pocket. It's making him throw before he's, making him uncomfortable, and making him throw before he's ready to throw. So we've got to look at everything, and I don't want to have to send a maximum pressure every time, and this is the only way that we're going to get to them, because those don't always work either, and then you're kind of left holding the bag on the back end sometimes. So we got to pick our spots with things that we do, I feel we've got a number of guys that are capable pass rushers. Now again, it's putting it together in the moment when it counts, and we're gonna keep going at it.
Joe wasn't 100% in camp with the cast and everything. He played and kind of assisted on the sack this last game. What have you seen with him, and how he's?
One thing about Bai is that he will always play high motor, and he's gonna play fast. And I don't mean this in a bad way for him, but right, wrong, or otherwise, he's gonna go fast. So he's still learning, and really learning, because he did, that did set him back a little bit. So we're trying to kind of pick our spots a little bit, get him some playing time, and see how he responds. I thought, like I said, he played really hard last week, and just by doing that, when you're when you're long and athletic and twitchy, and you play at full tilt all the time, you're gonna make some things happen. And he was able to do that on quite honestly on a couple different plays. Did a really good job. So I was really proud of him. And man, he's in the office every afternoon, you know, getting extra work and trying to find, trying to just learn more. And so he's certainly putting in the time, and I think it's, it'll just keep paying off as we go.
Is there a common thread at all with the explosives, or, is there something you guys can do to limit those a little bit more?
Yeah, I kind of try to hit it on the best way I can. We want to make it, if they get those plays on us, it's them plays, not us problems, right? So sometimes guys are just going to make plays on you, and you can be in a really good spot and they're still going to catch the ball, or things are going to happen. What we can't have is, breakdowns on our own part where it's like, tennis, it's double faulting, serving, twice out of the zone or whatever. And, well, that person didn't even have to try to return one of your shots. He got points. So we can't hand them those kind of things. And we've done a little bit of that, and we gotta knock that off. And but again, I know our guys are aware of that stuff, and we're working through that all. And I feel like the best part of what we're capable of is still coming up here yet.
I think the last few weeks you guys kind of struggled in the end of first halves. Is there anything you're seeing during that time?
End of first halves, same thing. It's a 2-minute situation, and I think there's been times where all of a sudden you gotta go out there suddenly and respond to something. And I think a lot of times we've had pretty good responses this year. We just haven't always had them at that particular moment again. So end of half, end of game, we've got to do a better job there. So again, it's not just talking about it, we're actually like working on that. We're creating scenarios and situations, and making guys go out there and practice through that. Hey, here's the deal, and there's this amount of seconds left, and here's where the ball is, and we're actually physically rehearsing those things and doing a successful job of it, so that guys, hey man, we've been in this situation before, and we've come out on the good end. So that's primarily what we're trying to do.
Anything else for Coach Borland? Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Coach.